Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to the NWU Mafikeng Leadership Workshop. This is day one. We have a 3-day workshop, and day one and day two are packed with amazing presentations from speakers from across the world, as well as from different areas of specialization. So this first session will be on authentic leadership. And we are just waiting for Prof Mazwe, who's going to present to connect. So let's just give him a moment, and he'll be with us to present. But welcome. Please use the chat box if you have any questions. Also, do indicate to us where you're connecting from. If you're connecting from Minnesota, USA, if you're connecting from the Eastern Cape, Yonita is connecting from the Eastern Cape. If you're connecting from Gauteng, Botswana, Zambia, Congo, DRC, tell us where you're connecting from. Thank you so much for registering for this workshop. So yeah, let's just wait for Prof to connect, and then yeah, we'll definitely get on with the first session. So as we continue to wait for Prof Mazwe to connect, I'll just go through what the topic of the session is, and also just to go through his bio as well. So as I indicated, the session 9 to 10, it's on authentic leadership. And authentic leadership is an approach to leadership that emphasizing building the leader's legitimacy through honest relationships with followers, which value their input and are built on an ethical foundation. So authentic leadership is all about legitimacy as well as an ethical foundation. So this session will then unpack what brings about authentic leadership, and also a closer look at the qualities and values of an effective leader. So that's the presentation we're gonna get from Prof Mazwe. And then his bio as well, Prof Mazwe, he's got over 30 years of experience in leadership. But let me just quickly dive into his bio as well as we continue to wait for him. So Prof Mazwe is an associate professor of leadership and management. He's an author, publisher, speaker, lecturer, consultant, political analyst, transformation specialist, executive coach, leadership expert, and organizational strategist. He is the personal mastery and self-leadership specialist. He prides himself with over 30 years of leadership and management experience, as I said. He's the founder and CEO of the World Institute of Leadership and Development. WILD seeks to equip, WILD is the World Institute of Leadership and Development, seeks to empower coaches and produces world-class leaders in all spheres of life. He's also the founder and moderator of the Leadership Think Tank. He's also the founder and CEO of Umnoto Wamazwe Consulting, which is a 100% Black-owned company with a level 1 BEE status. He is also the founder and managing director of Country Publishers, a self-publishing company which has assisted many authors to publish and distribute their books. Prof Mazwe has written and published the following books: Making Your Workplace a Workplace, The Power of Self-Leadership, Exceptional Leadership, The Power and Principles of Teamwork. Prof Mazwe also holds several degrees, including the following postgraduate qualifications: a Master of Business Administration, MBA from Preston University, a Master of Philosophy, MPhil from University of Pretoria, a Master of Commerce from University of KwaZulu-Natal, an Executive Development Program, EDP from Manchester University. And last but not least, Doctor of Philosophy from Newbury Seminary. So yeah, that's about our speaker today, who's going to be telling us, or rather unpacking authentic leadership to us. And I think it's something that is really important, authentic leadership. We don't talk about it a lot, but I think you'd all agree with me how important it is to have authentic leadership, you know, in terms of a leadership you can trust and rely on, not only as we speak in the context of tertiary institutions, but also in terms of nations. You know, we want leaders that, you know, bring about honesty, transparency, they're legitimate, and in terms of also the ethical foundation that I spoke about. You know, we need leaders in Africa, in our countries, across the world that, you know, have got that ethical foundation in terms of their decision making, you know. So yeah, I'm excited about this session. I hope you're all excited, and yeah, let's just be patient more as we wait for Prof. Mazwe.
Gabriel.
Yes, Yonita?
I was wondering, as you were explaining leadership, authentic leadership, I wondered, while we wait for Prof, would it be a good idea for us to ask the attendees in the chat function to give us a definition of what they think authentic leadership is all about?
Yes, I think that would be good to just also get to hear what the attendees think about authentic leadership. Maybe also they can also write down perhaps their expectations from this session as well, what they possibly want to learn. So yeah, our lovely attendees, if you can make use of the chat box, let's hear. Yeah.
I also see Gabriel, Prof is ready. He's ready to come online. So attendees, if you quickly just pop in the chat box for us what you think authentic leadership is about. Prof is about to enter the session.
Awesome.
Sorry, everyone. I see that as an attendee, I have just upgraded him to a panelist. So he should be ready now in a few seconds. Let's just
awesome.
Give it a moment.
Just to break the ice, Gabriel, I think authentic leadership for me is to let your words and your actions align, to make sure that as leaders, we don't say one thing and do something else.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And you know, with authentic leadership, I think it speaks to your listening skills, transparency, integrity, and of course the focus on the long-term goals that if it's an organization that you're leading, what are the long-term goals that they do have as well. But yeah, let us wait for Prof to clearly unpack the subject for us. But yeah.
I see Natasha Langdown. She said authentic leadership is a leader that's best positioned to inspire trust, loyalty, and strong performances from staff. Lovely answer, lovely.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Prof. Mazwe, we are ready to begin. Your introduction and bio has already been read, so welcome and thank you for signing in. And once again, to all the attendees, thank you for your patience. Prof. Mazwe has joined us and is ready to begin.
Thank you very much, colleagues, and apologies for late for joining you or being delayed. I struggled with connection in my area this morning. The electricity is down, so you understand we live in South Africa. especially in Gauteng. So maybe some of you, we are living in other provinces, is much better than Gauteng. But thank you so much for the invite. Are you able to hear me clearly?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks, Obriel, for your invitation. And I'm quite excited to be with you this morning. And I'm looking forward to learn a lot from you. I understand this a great community of great thinkers. So I'm looking forward to really learn a lot from you. So we are discussing authentic leadership this morning, but I thought let me cover it differently from a bigger a general and a bigger scale, so that I'm not just dealing with it myopically or in a narrow-minded way. Why? Because leadership is contextual. Leadership is not universal. So leadership, it's a journey. I always say that leadership, it's a journey. Leadership is not a destination. So we are always learn, we are always rise and fall all the time. There is no leader under the sun who can go and stand on a mountain top and say, I am the greatest leader. Look at me. Because we are human beings, we learn all the time. That is why I'm here this morning to learn from you, because great leaders are great learners, and great leaders are great readers. So I want to tackle differently. So what I will do, I want to start with the cost of leadership. What is the cost of leadership? And I'll tackle the dangers of leadership. And thirdly, I'll cost of what kind of leaders do people follow? Obviously, they're to be authentic, and then I'll break it down. So I thought with the limited time I have, I'll be able to cover this, but I'll try to rush as much as I can, so that I don't interrupt with your schedule. With your schedule. So very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, there is a cost in leadership. There is a price in leadership. And many of us and many of leaders don't take this into cognizance. Whenever I teach leaders, whenever I train or I speak to the managers, because I'm an executive coach as well, I always ask them, why did you take leadership? Are you aware that there is a big price in leadership? So we jump into leadership because obviously there's so many benefits as well in leadership. But quickly, let's look at the cost of leadership. One, loneliness. Leadership brings loneliness with it. So you find that leaders are lonely, although other leaders, they will argue that it depends. I know that especially a person like John Maxwell writes a lot on this area. He argues that if you are lonely as a leader, it means you have not empower other people to be with you. So it means that you climbed the ladder alone, and when you get on top, and that we find that you are lonely there because there are no one to support you. But generally, leaders are lonely. You must check when you are just a follower, a team member. You've got people that surround you, friends, especially in the workplace. As soon as you assume a leadership position, for whatever reason, and then you feel that there are people that are driving away from you, and then you are left alone. So there's that loneliness in leadership. So it's very important as leaders that you must always remember that there is loneliness in leadership, whether that is right or wrong, but maybe we can unpack that some other days, as I'm saying that there's a huge debate whether you should be lonely as a leader or you must not be lonely as a leader. But we cannot run away from the fact that there is that loneliness in leadership. And another prize that you'll find in leadership, those who are involved in leadership already, is criticism. If you're a leader, you'll always be criticized. And now some people, they run away, they cry. Of course, as you must cry because you're a human being. But you must know that as a leader, there will be some criticism. As a leader, there will be some insults. As a leader, why? Because you're a leader. Because you are ahead of other people. So people, they tend to criticize you. Very few people who will commend you and praise you, but you, for whatever reason, you attract more criticism than praises. I've spoken about insults, but there is fatigue as well, because there's a lot of work. If you're a leader, you work more than other people. You leave the office late. You've got to be in the office early in the morning. You work hard. So there will be that fatigue. That is why we always tell leaders how important it is to take breaks, because you are a human being. You are not a machine. So it's important. You're a leader. You must work hard, but at the same time, you must find some way of rest, because it's very important to a human being. Another price in leadership is self-sacrifice. There's a lot of sacrifice in leadership. I'm sure even yourself at your level, you'll find that you sacrifice a lot. You sacrifice your time, you sacrifice your friends, you sacrifice your families, you sacrifice things that you used to do before you assume any leadership position. So you must know that as soon as you are elected or appointed as a leader, there will be some sacrifice, actually huge sacrifice that you find that. Another prize is too much pressure on you. There's a pressure that you'd find, because now as a leader, pressure that comes from within, from you. You want to do good. You don't want to disappoint yourself. You don't want to disappoint those people who appointed you or who elected you. So there's a pressure that you want to do best that comes from within. And then also there's a pressure that comes from the South. The South are these people that you are leading, whether are your followers or your team members. There's a pressure that comes from the North, that's from the top, whether if you're working, it's your boss or your seniors or the people that are above you. So there's a pressure that comes from the West, from the South, from the East. So pressure comes from everywhere as a leader. That is why there is this fatigue that you'll find. And other people will reject you, and other people will hate you. So there's so much price that you'll pay as a leader, and it's very important to understand it, because you are a leader, as I'm saying. Very quickly, what are some dangers or perils that you'll find in leadership? Compromise. There's so many leaders that compromise. You compromise your character, you compromise your values, you compromise certain things that you must be doing just because you want to please other people. So it's very important that when you're a leader, when I'm saying but compromise, I'm not saying you must be that whenever it comes to terms of negotiations that you don't compromise. No, not that compromise. But I'm just saying that compromising things that you should not be compromising. As I'm saying that, talking about your personal values in order to meet other people's demands. So that's a danger in your leadership. Make sure that you don't go to that level. And leadership, also the danger of leadership, it brings too much ambition. so many leaders, including political leaders, especially political leaders, but even in business, people who have too much ambition, too much ambitious. There's nothing wrong from being ambitious. As human beings, as leaders, you've got to be ambitious, you've got to want to do good, but anything that is too much becomes negative. So many leaders who find themselves in corruption, in malfeasance, in all these wrong things, because they don't get content. So they want to get more and more and more because of too much ambition. They want to find them. So it's very important to manage your ambition, if I can put it like that. Manage your ambition. Yes, you must be ambitious, but manage it in a certain way. And another danger of leadership is failure. That sometimes you must find yourself failing, as I've spoken or as I've mentioned already, that you don't, that pressure that you don't want to disappoint yourself or other people. So failure is a danger in leadership. Popularity. Remember, leadership brings power. So there's power in leadership. So power and popularity and pride. People becomes, some find that someone was okay before he becomes a leader or before he became a leader. He was accessible, approachable, a right person, a good person. All of a sudden, there's someone is got this power, and then pride kicks in. And so many leaders go down because of pride. So you must always make sure that you manage your pride as well, because that is a danger in leadership. In leadership, egoticism, the spirit of indispensability. You think that you are the only one who is more important, or self-importance that is more important in the room. That you must make sure that you manage that. And the issue of corruption. Corruption is a danger in leadership. Any level of leadership, you will find, as I'm saying, that power, the people surrounding you, and it is very important, again, to make sure that you are surrounded by great people, because people, and I can just see what is happening. You can just see certain leaders do wrong things just because of the wrong company, the people that surround them. So corruption is a big danger, it's a big peril. Many leaders have gone down so we are living in South Africa. You see what is happening in the Zondo Commission, especially from politicians who found themselves in this wrongdoing just because of power, just because they could ban things, they could meet people, but because they didn't have good values, they were not strong enough, they were not grounded, they found themselves doing wrong thing. So I've got other areas, but because of time, I think I just would like to probably, as I'm saying, that we might tackle that next time. Now, come to authentic. Authentic means genuine, not copy. You are not a copy. It's you are a genuine person. If you are an authentic leader, you are a leader that knows himself or herself. You are consistent. Actually, let me just break it down and say, under authentic, what kind of a leader are you? You are a competent leader. Competence is very important. Authentic leaders are competent. Competency is everything in leadership, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot go anywhere if you are not competent. That's authentic, because you are grounded. You as I'm saying that you are not copying other people. it's you. And as you are competent, because competence and competition comes from the same root. So it means that we are competing not with other people or against other people, but competing against yourself with yourself. So you become competent as an authentic leader. An authentic leader is an ethical person. A person with character, person with values. Let me just tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you can, in South Africa, because of the South African laws, especially if you are working, you can twist things when it comes to competence, because even in companies, it's very difficult to fire someone now based on competence, because you've got to train that person. In other words, you've got to prove that you really trained that person. You upskilled that person. You moved him around from this department to another department, because so dismissal should be the last resort, because you've got to train someone. So you cannot just say, I fired this person because he's incompetent. So I'm not saying you cannot, you can, but I'm saying it's quite difficult to fire someone based on competence, because moving from a certain department to another department, because maybe he might try better if he's in another department. But when it comes to ethical issues, and many leaders have gone down not because of competence. I know great leaders, including business and politics, who were very competent, but they went down because of character, because of ethical or lack thereof of ethics. So authentic leaders are ethical. So it's got to be very ethical. And authentic leaders are relational. Remember that you are leading human beings. You've got to be relational. As I've said, that you must manage your pride. So you must relate to people. You must not only lead with your head, but you must use your heart as well. Because it's very important to be relational. Talk to people, understand people, and people will follow you if you do that. Authentic leaders are approachable. You've got to be an approachable leader, approachable person. You've got to be accessible as a person. That is why when I was talking about loneliness, that there is that argument, debate at a scholarly level, whether are you approachable enough as a leader, or you are just this leader who thinks that because you are in leadership now, so you are untouchable, no one can come to you. So you've got to be approachable and accessible to people that you are leading. Authentic leaders are accountable. Accountability is very important in leadership. Accountability means you've got to be able to answer for the things that you've done, whether they are nice or they are wrong. You've got to take ownership. You've got to be responsible. You must not point fingers and say, no, it was not me, it was so and so. You must be a strong leader, take ownership of what you're doing. And authentic leaders are caring. As I said, that not only competent, but you must be caring as well. You must be courageous as well as an authentic leader. You must be credible as well. You must be trustworthy as a leader. But great leaders are humble, as I said. Humility is very important in leadership. That is why I've said pride it's a most dangerous thing in leadership. So great leaders are humble. They understand that leaders, as I said, that leaders is contextual. So you don't lead everywhere. I always give this example in my classes, or because I'm more involved in executive development programs. So I facilitated, I teach executives and senior leaders. So I always say that you must picture this as an executive, or as a manager, or as a leader, that within your team members, they are leaders. Those people who are team members are leaders themselves in their own rights, in their own spaces, in their certain areas. For instance, let me just give an example. You are a leader in your space, and your team members, let's just say one of your team members maybe is the chairperson of a governing a school governing body. Your children go to a certain school, and in that school, one of your team members is a chairperson of that governing body. So at work, you are the leader, you are in charge of this person. But when the parents' meetings at school, and you are called to attend there, and then you go there and you sit at the back, and the person you were leading during the day is the one who's chairing the meeting. So in other words, so you cannot go around and say, I'm a leader everywhere. So it's you lead somewhere, and you've got to follow somewhere. So you cannot attend that meeting, and when you get there and you say that, hey, listen, remember that I'm your boss at work. No, you don't do that. So you lead during the day. This person is under you. In the evening, for 2 hours, 3 hours, and you are under this person, and this person is leading you. The following day, you change the roles, and you are leading again, and then this person is under you. So that's where the humility comes in. Check this: you are a leader at work, and one of your team members, maybe it's a pastor, or is an elder at church where you attend. So during the week, you are a leader is following you, but on Sunday you sit right at the back, and this person is in front, is taking a lead in the church. And so there are so many examples that we can use, but I'm just saying that the humility comes in, that you learn wherever you go as a leader. You are not arrogant. You understand that you can learn, or you will learn from other people as well. Authentic leaders lead themselves well. Leadership starts from within, ladies and gentlemen, what is called self-leadership. You cannot lead other people if you cannot lead yourself. That is why this morning I was very, very disappointed, and I felt bad, because I also host a lot of webinars and leadership sessions. So I know that if there is a speaker, that we are waiting for a speaker as a host, it's not right. So I felt bad as I was struggling to enter, because now as a leader, you've got to be organized. You lead yourself first. You cannot lead other people. Self-leadership is very important, ladies and gentlemen. Things like managing yourself, self-awareness, self-regulation, understanding you, emotional intelligence, those things, understanding you, managing your temper, knowing that in order to connect with other people, you must connect with yourself. Know your emotions, your feelings, that thing. So authentic leaders lead themselves well. Leadership starts from within. That is very, very important. Authentic leaders lead by example. We call that modeling leadership. So as a leader, you model. I always say that there are certain things that you don't even have to say it. You do it and other people, they copy from you, or they obviously emulate from you, and then they will follow you. So exemplary leadership is very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. That is why many people go down, because they do things just because their leader does it. So you do something good, and then other people will follow suit and do that thing. So it's very important to lead by example. And authentic leaders are disciplined. Discipline is very, very important. You know, you've got to be disciplined as a leader. Authentic leaders are passionate about what they do. Passionate is very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to have energy. You've got to love what you do as a leader, and then when you do that, and then people will follow you. Authentic leaders are empowering leaders. Great leaders are not fearful. Great leaders are not threatened by other people. But great leaders develop other leaders. They empower other leaders. Actually, leaders develop other leaders. That is why even today you have this webinar. You call people like us, you know, because leaders develop other leaders. Leaders produce other leaders. As a leader, you are produced by a leader. You cannot produce, and I'm saying this with humility, a leader cannot be produced by a receptionist. So you are produced by other leaders. So as I'm saying that, authentic leadership, it talks about character, understanding you, managing you, empowering other people, understanding other people. Authentic leadership is about being grounded as a leader. Leadership requires thick skin. As I said, that you will be criticized, you'll be insulted. People will say also, you know, leadership is leadership. I always said this. It's so difficult to satisfy people. People, they want all the time. That is why as a leader, you've got to have that thick skin. You must be courageous. You must be strong. But not only strong. I always say that as a leader, you must be strong enough to stand, as I'm saying that, to be grounded, to stand for things that people are saying for you. But also you must be humble, or rather you must be tender enough to cry, because you are a human being. You've got feelings, you've got emotions, you must express your emotions. Although I always say that don't cry in front of people, because people will think that you are weak. But it doesn't mean that if you must express your vulnerability so that people see that you are strong. So you must be strong enough to stand your ground, and you must be tender enough to cry. And you must be human enough to make mistakes, because as a leader, you will make mistakes. But as you make mistakes, you must be humble enough to accept those mistakes, to admit those mistakes. Because it's one thing to make mistakes, but it's one thing to admit them. And you must be tough enough as I've said, you must be tough enough to deal with criticism and all these things. And also you must be resilient enough to bounce back when things go wrong. So that resilience leadership is very important. You must be resilient, tough, strong, but caring and compassionate as well. Human enough, humble enough, you know. So all that, it's leadership. It brings all those things together. Leadership, as I'm closing now, leadership, it's about balancing extremes. Leadership is about pulling polarities together, so that you must be strong and tough one side, and at the same time you must be tender and caring and compassionate. It's not either or, but it's and both. So it's not either strong or caring, but no, it's leadership. It's about being courageous and caring. Leadership, it's about being competent and ethical. Leadership, it's about being strong and tender. Leadership is about being human and humble. Leadership, it's about being disciplined and resilient. Leadership, so it's about and both, not either or. That is very, very important. So you pull this thing together. That is what we call complexity leadership. That leadership, you're pulling things together. It's not about either or, but it's and both. I think maybe for now, because of time, let me leave it there, Mr. Maposa or moderator, and then let me hear from you. But with those few words, thank you very much. Yeah.
Amazing. From the first minute you started speaking, I started making notes, and it's sad for me that we have to settle for an hour with you, Prof, because I think we can absolutely go on multiple tea breaks and come back and chat more on leadership. But yeah, I'm really grateful that you said yes to our invitation, because I think your presentation says it all. I think the audience would agree with me as well. We have a question from the audience. The first question is, what is your advice for leaders who are being isolated by followers because you don't conform to their corrupt ways? They view you as cold and distant because they say, for example, you track when they come and when they leave the office as well. So what is your advice for leaders who are being isolated by their followers?
Yes, no, definitely. And that talks to the cost of leadership, as I spoke about it. My advice is that you must stand your ground. As I said earlier on, leadership requires a thick skin. You must be grounded. You must be courageous. You must be decisive. But at the same time, you remember it's and or, not either both. But at the same time, you must be approachable and accessible. You must not compromise your values and your character just because you want to please other people. Be competent. Competence. Leaders follow leaders who are authentic, as we are saying. I like what you call me here. When they see that you are authentic, when they see that you mean what you say and you say what you mean, when they say that you've got integrity, and they will respect you. Of course, those ones who want to abuse you and who want to corrupt you, they will say things, they will criticize you, they will insult you, they will gossip about you. But as long as you know that you are doing correct thing, when you go home and you're sleeping at night, and then you've got peaceful night or peaceful sleep, because you know that you did not bend rules, you did not bend, no rules can be bent, not rules, but values and your character. So there will always be those followers who will, yes, and who will say mean things just because you don't do what they're saying. So in short, be grounded as a leader, be strong, but remember, be caring as well. Empathy is very important. So they must know that we are a strong leader, because people are very abusive. and people are very manipulative. Someone can just say, come to you. And so if you are too nice and Mr. Nice and people's pleaser, no, so you've got to be strong, but not strong in terms of being autocratic and so you've got just be approachable, and people must know that they can come. As I spoke about relationship, be relational, and then people, they know that they can come to you at any given time. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Yonita, you say you've got a comment as well. I'm just gonna hand over to you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prof. I just want to thank you. You spoke about being a leader with your heart and with your mind. And to me, that connects the fact that our acts, our actions, and our words must align. So I just want to thank you for opening that up for me. It was a lovely presentation. We really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks, Yonita. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Yonita. Prof, before we let you go, like I said, I've been making notes from my end as well. How important is vulnerability? Making yourself vulnerable as a leader, because like you indicated, that being vulnerable shows that you're human, and I would say to a great extent, vulnerability shows true authenticity. How important is it?
Yeah, Mr. Maposa, vulnerability is very important. Sometimes as leaders, we want to play this tough, I don't know what one I can say, that you are this, you are supernatural being, that you don't have feelings and emotions. So that's why I'm saying that while we are courageous, while we are resilient, but you must be caring and compassionate as well. You must show your feelings. However, I always say that as a leader, so it means that you must balance that, or rather you must manage that vulnerability, because as soon as your followers, they see that you are crying, that you are breaking down, they will think you are weak, you're a weak leader. And then they will abuse you, they will manipulate you. So it's very important to manage it. For instance, I always say to managers and leaders, don't cry in the meeting. When someone, maybe we are sharing a meeting, or in a meeting, we are sharing a meeting, or you are expressing your point, you're making a certain point, and then there is someone who's being mean to you in front of other people. Don't show that. Don't break down, in front of people, because now they will say that, oh, no, you're weak. But at the same time, be strong, but you must be grounded, and you must have a way of managing, and that's where, as I spoke about emotional intelligence, that is where you are able to manage, because emotional intelligence is very important. You manage your emotions and your feelings, and also how to do the same with other people. So, but in a nutshell, O'Brien, vulnerability is very important. You are a human being. That is why people get sick. That is why people get these diseases. That is why people break down. You find someone. That is why people aging early. That is why there are so many things, because people, they want to see themselves as a robot or as machines, and we are not. We are human beings. So whether you want to have, obviously, you've got to have some mentors or coaches where you can express your feelings and you express your emotion to someone else, or whether at home or with your close friends, or with, but that helps, because even for stress, even for stress management, it helps your body and your system to cool down. So You've got to be, as I said, that you must be tough enough, but you must be tender enough to cry. You know, it's a matter of where do you cry? Who do you cry to? You know, that is very important.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm just going to quickly jump to another question that is from the attendees. Johannes asks, how do we distinguish the corporate leaders to political leaders in the subject of authentic leadership, or there is no difference? How do we distinguish the corporate leaders to political leaders in the subject of authentic leadership?
Yeah, leadership is leadership. It's just, it's about a context. It's contextual. Political leaders are elected leaders. They've got a term, mostly 4 years, 5 years. They are at the mercy of their electorate or their voters. I always say that whether I do, as you know, that I'm a political analyst as well, whether I'm doing analyst or what. So that as a political leader, you've got to understand that you are in a mercy of other people. They put you there and then they'll take you out there, or they'll take you from there. So and then obviously you are there politically to do a political job. Unfortunately, because of the dangers that is there in the political arena, so political leaders, I don't know how many you can say they are authentic leaders. You know, that one we must be honest with it. I don't know how many you say, yeah, this one is a very authentic, because there's a certain context in a political. You come to business leaders again, or private sector, again, there it's just a context. So a business leader, it's someone who's not appointed, or it's someone who's not elected, but he's appointed. So you are in a mercy of the people who appointed you, whether it's a board or it's a CEO or it's your executive managers, whatever. So whatever you do, you are at a mercy of that person. And you've got to be authentic in what you do in that space, in whatever you've been put there. So the difference is just contextual, but leadership, that is why you find other political leaders, once they are out of office, they move to private sector, whether they become the chairperson of different boards, or they become CEOs or whatever, vice versa. And you find that someone who was in the corporate space moves to politics for whatever reason. So it's just leadership, but it's just contextual, or it's just context. Sorry.
All right. Thank you so much, Prof. I don't think we have any more questions from the panel. And I still do have a lot of things I want to ask you, but of course our time is limited. But I'm glad we've connected, and I believe that even the attendees, they're more than welcome to try to connect with you and reach out to you, and hopefully maybe some would actually bump into you in the future as you're training them as executives, you know. But this was lovely. I enjoyed the session. I'm truly grateful for this, and yeah, thank you once again. I know we had some technical issues earlier on, and with load shedding, it's our context that we need to understand as well. So I guess we need to think about how can we, you know, have power and energy. How are we going to improve sustainability on that front? That can be a conversation for another day. But thank you so much to our attendees. Thank you so much for your questions. Thank you so much for telling us where you are connecting from. Also, as I indicated earlier on, it's a 3-day workshop. We've got a packed program. You're more than welcome to join the other sessions as well and learn from other speakers as well. But this was a great start. Authentic leadership, I think it's very important. I made some couple of notes, and definitely share with my team and my colleagues. The Golden Key Southern African team, thank you so much as well for organizing this and giving us the platform to chat with Prof. Mazwe. So once again, Prof. Mazwe, thank you so much. and have a lovely day further on.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, and thank you, colleagues. Indeed, as I said, leadership is a journey. We will definitely bump to each other, and please, let's connect in the future. Because obviously we learn from each other all the time. I come here, I learn from you, and then I mean leadership. Yeah, it's a journey. It's exactly that. I do also have leadership sessions. Please do check if you please do follow me on my social media. I know that Obrel do follow me in my in the LinkedIn, so you'll always see some things there. Do join us whenever you have time. You'll definitely learn a lot. But thank you so much for inviting me, and all the best with your day and definitely with your workshop. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Briel.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Yonita. Thank you, Natasha.
It's a pleasure.